Greetings, namaste, fellow earth beings. My name is Matt. I'm coming to you today, just trying to work out the message that I'm here to bring. Just launch right into it and tell you my story, because I'm the only one who can tell it. And what happened to me is I had a divine awakening from the period of about March of '05 through August of '06 and beyond, where I was divinely led to information, and I discovered information on various topics, from spirituality to conspiracies to extraterrestrials in 2012. And so I'm just here to share this information with the world, and please understand that this is not a bunch of stuff that I've read or seen where I, with my rational mind, thought, oh, okay, that makes sense to me, I think it's true. This really is an instance of divine synchronicity and divine guidance, to where I have experienced a source outside of myself, call it the universe, God, Allah, Brahman, Yahweh, whatever you want to call it. There is a force out there that is, I call it the love intelligence of the universe. It is consciousness. It doesn't think the way we think. It doesn't punish. It doesn't judge. It just exists. It just is. And that's why bad things happen. People always ask, well, if there's a God, why would it allow bad things to happen to good people? And that's because this is a free will zone. This is a free will universe. I keep hearing that over and over from higher channeled messages. I don't know if there's other universes that aren't free will universes, but this one apparently is, which means we all have free will to inflict evil without punishment, and that's why evil deeds are done, because it's everyone's free will to commit evil. And we'd like to believe in karma, and that the bad guys get theirs in the end, but all it is vibration. Everything is vibration. So if you commit a negative act and you send that, negative, energy out into the universe, there is a chance that it will come back to you. It's not guaranteed, I once heard someone say that, karma is like throwing a rock up in the air and then not moving out of the way, knowing that it's coming back, and letting it hit you on the head. Free will. We have the free will to get out of the way of that rock. And I say this not to encourage people to commit evil, of course. I'm just trying to explain how there is a loving presence that governs this universe, yet still allows evil to exist. And the other reason for that is for our own development, because going through, facing evil and going through struggle and facing trials and obstacles and times of, grief and sadness and pain and joy, encourage us to grow and to ultimately contribute to our evolution, which is why we're all here, to evolve up into the higher dimensions. We all existed up in the higher dimensions at one point. We agreed we wanted to come down into this vibration and experience life in these physical forms, knowing that it was a zone that is under a tremendous amount of control. So there is a God. We are all its expression, because we are all one. Everything in this universe is connected through the singularity of the Big Bang, and there's a web of energy that's interconnected, interconnects everything in this universe, spreading out through space and time, uniting everything. It is conscious. That's what God is. We're all a part of it. There's no separation between the individual and God. We're all one. We're all God. We all have unlimited, infinite, untapped potential. The powers of telepathy, flight, psychic powers, psychokinetic powers. All of this stuff is available to us if we develop ourselves and our minds to tap into it. Now, for the bad stuff about this being a controlled reality. The story goes like this. Thousands of years ago, in the times of Atlantis, first of all, they say all life on Earth was seeded by benevolent extraterrestrials. And they created this human form, and there's humans on other planets too, not just this one, as a universal body type that souls from different planetary systems, different body types to incarnate into. And we had 12 fully functional strands of DNA. We were psychic, telepathic, psychokinetic. We had clean energy that didn't pollute the earth. These are what the Atlanteans were. Perfect, harmonious, loving humans. Then a race of reptilians from the Draco constellation came down. They were apparently deposited there from another part of the universe. Sounds crazy. That's just what I've been told, channeled from higher sources. They came down and asked the Atlanteans if they could mine for gold for Nibiru, they're one of the planets that they live on, for the atmosphere to keep the planet warm from the internal volcanism. So the Atlanteans said, "Oh, that's a kind of weird request, but yeah, we're not using the gold. We don't have any use for it. No, so go ahead." And so they came down, because you can't invade another planet without that planet's permission. That's like the prime directive on Star Wars. It's a real thing. You cannot interfere with another race without their permission. So they were invited. They came down. They've been here ever since. They they interbred with the Atlanteans, led to their downfall, corrupted them, and then manipulated their DNA from 12 strands down to 2 to create us humans as we currently are, as their slave race. Which sounds crazy, I know, but let's just say there's different levels to this. The extraterrestrial level, if you're not ready for that level, let's bring it down a notch to the third dimensional reality of who's really running this planet, which is the banks and the big weapons manufacturers and the big industry that is suppressing technology where we could have free energy for the entire planet forever. But of course the big oil companies and the big energy companies are making too much money off of the current system that they don't obviously want to give that up. And it's amazing, there's how much we're made and socialized to live in fear. It's like even people, most people, when you bring up like free energy technology and cars that can run on water, even salt water, they say, "Oh, that's impossible. If that was true, I would have seen it on CNN." Bullshit. Who owns CNN? Who owns all the major network news? Have you heard of the Bilderbergers? Of course you haven't. Because they don't want you to know who they are. They're the elite, the rich who are running the world. They meet once a year in total secrecy, and there's a reason why you don't hear about their meeting in major news. But now with the freedom of the internet and alternative press, their existence is well documented. Their meetings are well documented every year, as much as they try to keep it a secret. Now there's hundreds of reporters covering each Bilderberg meeting from outside the gates, where they have the guards with semi-automatic rifles and everything. But even when you tell people that, even if they believe that these technologies exist, and they say, well, they couldn't implement those because then all these people who work for the oil companies and drive the gasoline trucks and all these guys would be out of work. And it's like, are you serious? You want to keep this system in place that kills the earth and keeps these elite, rich assholes in power so some people don't lose their jobs. Let me tell you something, people. There's more to life than working a job. We are not supposed to work jobs in order to survive and put money in someone else's pocket just for the privilege of having a roof over our heads and food to eat. That's not what the universe intends for us. Again, we are divine, sovereign beings of light, of love. We are God. We're not supposed to be living like slaves, like we've been made to live by this ruling elite, whether you believe them to be controlled by extraterrestrials or not. Now, 2012. It's the completion of a cycle. It's a galactic alignment. There's an energy to that alignment. It's the real deal, folks. It's not another Y2K. And it's not about doom and gloom, but it is real. It is happening, and this, like I said, comes from an inner knowing that I've experienced. Again, a source outside myself has led me to all this information that tells me that I'm here to prepare for this ascension of the planet for 2012. It's a positive, glorious ending. It's the downfall of the dark forces, the ascension of the planet and all the people on it. It's the end of our enslavement. It's a beautiful thing. Just let go of the shore. Just swim out into the water and go with the flow. And it's all going to be perfectly good, I promise. And we're over 10 minutes now, so I'll pick this up on the next segment.